Hey guys, welcome back to the channel this week. This week we're going to show you how we set up our Ford Bronco for flat towing and getting it prepped. Even before we actually had bought this RV, we were starting that process knowing we were going to get a Class A.
Even I got my hands a little dirty installing the base plates.
Yeah, and had I not had her little tiny fingers to help me get into a couple of spots, it would have been, well, it was difficult as it was, but it would have been nearly impossible for me. So she did a good job. All right, so today's project is to set up our Bronco to be flat towed behind our RV. I have purchased a wiring harness from Curt that is supposed to work with these LED lights. It says it's a fairly simple job, but I will let you know how simple and if it works correctly, because a few of the reviews I've seen online say that issues with the LED lights not working correctly with this system. So we're going to test it out. It's not a cheap solution, but at least it has all the pigtails, so I don't have to splice into anything. It should be just a plug and play type of system. So let's, fingers crossed that this actually works the way it should. This is the wire harness itself, and you can see that it has the connectors that should just be able to plug in to the factory, and it has already wired in the resistors. So, and it comes with the mounting plate to mount it in front of the bumper and a bunch of zip ties. So step one says to disconnect the negative terminal on the battery, which I guess we will do that now. First thing I have to do is take this 10mm and 10mm bolt out. Now I have to get a Phillips screwdriver and remove 4 on each side of these push-pull Phillips heads screws. Trim piece actually. Okay, now that those are all out, it says to start at the bottom by working this out. And let's see if I can get it out with one hand. That might be tricky. It says straight out. There we go. That's out. Now there is the connector right there that I have to unplug and plug the wire harness into. What I plan on doing is hooking everything up, because I have read reviews that it might not work right. So I'm going to just plug it in, and then I will, before I button everything up and tidy the wires up, I will definitely make sure it's working first. Okay, moment of truth. I've got everything hooked up, got the ground wire, ran up underneath the frame and attached. Now I'm going to pull my truck over here and plug into it and see if it's working correctly. If it is, I will unbuckle it and I will actually run the wires through the bumper and all that kind of thing as it's supposed to be. Everything works. I've got it temporarily hooked up to the truck right now. Just testing. We got tail lights, brake lights, and turn signals. Okay, so we have no issues. Everything works just the way it's supposed to work. Now I just got to run all these wires. It's getting real now. Wiring it for flat towing. And this Curt that Amazon said had terrible reviews, it works perfect for us. All right, so everything's put back together here. I've got the wires routed along the back bumper up there. Now I just got to route the rest of this wire up the driver's side frame and out the front bumper. Alright guys, this week I'm going to be installing all that we need to flat tow the Bronco behind our new motorhome. I have the base plate, I have the Roadmaster tow bars, and I have the Blue Ox Patriot 3 braking system. I've already installed the trailer wiring and all that. That is all set up. Now all I got to do is the rest of it actually. Okay, so this is the Roadmaster tow brackets for the Ford Bronco. So I'm going to open this up, see what the instructions say. I have not seen a video on YouTube yet showing how to install one of these, so hopefully this is helpful if you have a Ford Bronco and you're looking to flat tow. Alright, the first thing it says to do is to loosen 2 of these bolts here, this one and this one here, but not to take them off. And then I have to remove this bolt, and this bolt. Well, actually there's 4 up in there. to take this skid plate cover off. So that's what I'm going to do first. So the next thing I got to do is just pull this cover off the tow hook. It's just a rubber, and it says we're not going to use it again. And the next thing I'm going to do is take this tow hook loose and take it loose here from the intercooler, because the instructions are saying do one side at a time, because we will be taking the intercooler loose here. Okay, just going to say, when putting this wing bracket on, they tell you to put these two bolts in and leave them loose first, and then you try to fish this bolt up with the wire nut, which looks like that. Let me tell you something. We have fought with that thing for an hour, and I discovered the easiest way to do it is not to set these in first. You can actually start this with this whole bracket swiveled around loosely. Then you can fit your fingers up in this frame bracket. It's a two-person job, I would say. So Allie had her fingers up in there holding the nut with that wire while I started that one. I got it just started, I swung this around, and I've stuck those back in there. And this is good and started now. I'm teaching Allie how to be a mechanic. Are you getting it?
Mm-hmm. It's very tricky.
Just get it started, and then I can put the wrench on it. Okay, they're all installed. That was a little bit more of a job than I thought it was going to be. First, I thought it was going to be pretty simple, and then it turned out to be more work than expected. Although once we figured out how to get that one hidden bolt in there, it was much easier. So let's see. It goes in there like that. Okay, so this kit comes with the breakaway mount right here, and I've got the 7-way pin connector mount that's going to go right here. You just pop this off, take a couple bolts out from behind, and bolt it back in. It's really simple. And I believe that is it. Now I just got to run the wiring down in here, connector, and run my breakaway switch from our Patriot braking system, and we shall be ready to flat tow. Set this up on the truck tonight and just test the flat towing of the Bronco. I just kind of want to test it out here before we hook up the RV tomorrow. I just want to make sure that I can put it in flat tow mode and there's no issues. And I'm just going to take it around the block, and we're not going to go far. Lift up out of the way like this. This is how you store them on the back of the RV when you're at the campsite, okay, or if you're not towing anything. So, and then it's just a matter of lifting it back up, releasing the spring, bringing it back down. So that part is set up.
Man, it's amazing that all it's holding it is a pin.
Okay. Safety chains.
Yeah, I see it pulling a little bit. There, it just locked. There goes the zoo.
We are towing the Bronco for the first time with the new RV. A little nerve-wracking, not gonna lie. I checked everything like 3 or 4 times just to make sure everything was right. But once I get the hang of it, this is gonna be so much easier than pulling a trailer. I don't even really know what's back there. We are heading to Hillsborough River State Park for a little shakedown trip this weekend. Allie is definitely a motorhome believer now.
It's very nice.
All right, so the first time flat towing the Bronco, the base plates and the tow hitch from Roadmaster did great. And we have the Patriot braking system in here, and it is off again. So apparently the accessory system did not stay on. I will definitely have to wire a dedicated cigarette lighter plug from the battery, because I tried leaving the accessory on this time and it stayed on for a while apparently, but it eventually went out. So unhooking the Bronco, pretty simple. I was going to actually show you how to hook it up, but we forgot. Basically, I'll just release these. That one released. There we go. Pull the pan, pull that out. I will push that in. So that pretty much wraps up the video, guys. We have had 3 successful trips so far flat towing the Bronco.
We've gone to Hillsborough River State Park.
We've gone to Cedar Key.
And we have gone to Flagler Beach.
And Daytona, all in the same area over there. So that was the longest trip we took. That was about a 4-hour drive each way. So far, no issues. The Roadmaster Nighthawk tow bars are working great. The base plates from Roadmaster that we actually got those from E-Trailer, they're working great. And I would say that the Blue Ox Patriot 3 braking system works fine now that I actually ran that 12-volt dedicated cigarette. I call it a cigarette lighter, but it's a 12-volt plug directly to the battery. So that solved that issue of you can't really plug it into the 12-volt in the Bronco because it will time out after a while, and then you're left with no power. So you definitely have to, think about that if you're setting up your Bronco, or probably even a Jeep. You're probably going to have to run a dedicated 12-volt line for that. But we're happy with everything so far.
And I love being able to look at the rear view camera and see the Zool towing behind us.
It's really nice having the Bronco with us now when we're out exploring and going around and doing our adventures and checking out the towns and what have you. It's a lot easier to park the Bronco than it is the big F-250 truck.
And love having the top down and dropping down the beach strip. It was a lot of fun.
That was fun. All right, guys, we will see you in the next one.
All right, bye, guys.
Until then, take care.